great to see all of you. Thank you for coming out today for the opening day of Isabelle de Borchgrave Fashion and Art from Paper. This is a major exhibition, really a tremendous undertaking for us, and we're proud to be the opening venue of a 5-venue tour of this exhibition. And the Dixon is once again the primary organizer of this show, and we're very proud to have had this role. It really does take a village to make an exhibition of this complexity and this international scope. A lot of people contributed, the staff, the board of trustees of the Dixon, and certainly our sponsors, and and this is another really good problem to have. There are too many sponsors for me to list by name right now, but when you go into the exhibition, look at that title wall, and if you see anyone's name that you know, find that person and thank them for making this wonderful opportunity happen. We're very grateful to those sponsors. I would say most notably the good people at FedEx. I got to be at the hub when the big plane landed at FedEx, and I actually went into whatever it's called, the fuselage of the plane, and all I could see were our boxes all the way down it, and FedEx contributed that shipment, and they'll contribute it going back. So be sure to use FedEx anytime you can. We're fortunate to be here today and to listen in on what will be a fascinating conversation between one of America's top curators of fashion design, Danita Sewell, and Isabelle de Borchgrave, one of the most unique, creative, and intriguing artists I've ever known. Danita Sewell is the Jackie Durant's curator of fashion design at the Phoenix Art Museum. Danita received her MFA in design from the Yale School of Drama and started her career at the very famous Met Costume Institute. At the Phoenix Art Museum, she's organized 45 exhibitions on some form of fashion history, including a couple of exhibitions devoted to Tatiana Sirocco, who was actually here last night, and another show called Fashion Independent, the original style of Anne Bonfoy Taylor. She is also the curator and the author of, she's the curator of our exhibition, and she's the author of our catalog, which I had any sense at all, I'd be holding up right now and urging you to go into the shop and buy it. Isabelle de Borchgrave is a complete original. Her artistic practice is like no one else's. It's simultaneously classic and utterly contemporary, which is a very potent combination. Make no mistake, Isabelle is an artist. She's not a fashion designer. She's not a dressmaker. Fundamentally, she is a painter who happens to paint on paper and then takes that paper and shapes it into some form of historical costume. I've never seen anything even remotely like it, and I've seen a lot of artists in my time. Should you ever have the good fortune to visit Brussels and to be invited to Isabelle's busy studio, as I have twice, you'll find there a real hive of activity as a team of studio assistants paint and stencil and stamp and fold and otherwise manipulate paper to Isabelle's instruction. As you wander her light-filled spaces producing your own disruptions, of course, you'll see Isabelle serenely at work, always with a paintbrush in hand, finding the solution to the next creative question she's about to encounter. Isabelle's artistic practice is very much like those of the Northern Renaissance and Baroque masters who inhabited her native Belgium 5 centuries before her. With a pencil and a paintbrush and a vision, she oversees a creative process of her own invention. But Isabelle's artistry is also very much of our moment. She brings a 21st century sensibility to everything she does, and that duality is why we are so drawn to the work of Isabelle de Borchgrave so powerfully and inexorably. So with that, I give you Danita Sewell and Isabelle de Borchgrave.
Thank you for having us here and for that kind introduction. So Isabelle, fashioning art from paper. Why paper? Let's start with the elephant in the room, the big question.
Okay, after, I would like to say good afternoon. And to answer to your question, I have to say it's the first question people ask me everywhere. One, it's how I can move all the dress, and the second, why paper. It's easy to answer you because I am quite a old woman, and when I was young, we had no baby, we had no plastic toys, and I have just brothers and cousins, no wife around, no woman around me, and I have just paper, and I jump on a piece of paper and I drawing. And my parents was very nice because they let me doing what I would like to do, and I could paint on the wall, and when it was full, I had to paint it. And I draw, and I draw all the time. And when you play with paper, you could discover many things. Even my mother was very elegant. She loves fashion, she's got so spoiled, she has a lot of dress, and she loves shoes. And when she buys shoes, she gave me the box. The box was my treasure. I put the box on the wall, and I organized a little story in each box. And it's like, mise en scène. And at that age, I was exactly like that. And I do little dress because I have no dolls, I have no plastic, I have no, comment est-ce qu'on dit les petites poupées là, and I do everything by myself. And that's come really from far away. When I was there, because I go 2 times in holiday with my parents, not because they are naughty, it's because they don't go. We have a garden, we stay at the garden, we take off the apple and we take off of the leaves, and we have nothing to do except paper. And when I was at the first holiday, it's a luck, or maybe it's my way, Picasso was there at the same time. It's incredible because at that time, like a little girl, you have no idea about that man. But the beach was quite empty, but he has the children and we played together. And I remember a nice story. He was sitting like that on the beach, next to the beach, and you have the water arrive very slowly, and with his finger, he's drawing what we want. We wanted that, we wanted that, and the sea take off the design. And that stayed in my mind. I don't know, I could explain, but it gives me the way when you have to be in a hurry. If you think about something and if you do immediately, it's not important if that's still you have to down. That was the start. And come back to the paper. I leave the school at 14, it's not so good, but I found that so boring. I have impression I have listened 10 times the same story. I was very noisy because I was always busy with something. And one teacher put me at the back of the class, and then she told me, okay, you can design, but please. And that year I was the first of the class. Why? Because it's very important when you are busy with a brush or anything, you listen better. Because you are not, maybe I can sleep if I have to listen too much. But if you draw at the same time, that's coming to you easily. I leave the school at 14, and my parents say, okay, that's not a good news. But what you want to do? I would like to design. I would like never stop to have a brush, a pencil, and I have no idea about what. At that age, I have no idea. And I go to the Academy of Painting, Design. I just use comment on appelle, un fusain.
Charcoal.
Charcoal. No one color during 3 years. 8 hours a day. And it's like a military service. After that, you're drawing like an angel. At that time, I drawing better than now. And I have 17, I go out and I have no idea about that. And I find a little studio in the old city, Brussels, very nice city, because I always love nice place. And it was that my first studio. And what I can do, because nobody knows me, nobody needs me. I make a petit brochure and I drawing what I think, a pair of basket, a packet of soup, a Coca-Cola, a jewelry, a dress, and I put, because at that time there are no internet, and I put on the box letter. And I put my telephone number, and I sit next to my phone. And I wait. And quite quickly people arrive, and little by little I have a lot of things to do, but I have no money, and the studio costs something, and I decided to give some lesson to the kids. And I had twice a week 25 kids. And it's very nice to spend time with kids because finally it's them who teach you, because they are so free. The way and I put all my painting there, and they go everywhere, and I bring them in the forest in my little car. I go back, they would glue it was absolutely fascinating the way when I discovered the little kids. And that was the start, because I love fashion immediately. I love fashion since I was very little. But at that time, in Belgium, in Europe, we are used to have ball. We have quite 3 balls a week. Ball means you need a dress, but I have no dress. I decided to do my own dress, but not a dress white or black. No, I would like to make a story on the dress. And I paint that it was butterfly, that's depend my mood. And because I have no idea about fashion, styling, I bring a piece of fabrics, I paint the top and the back, and I put there with something, a jewelry there, and I go out and I dance all the night. And at that time, you are not. It's easy to wear. I think at 13 it's more easy than now. And little by little, everybody wants to have my dress. It was not a dress to go to the office. It was the dress to make a party, to go to the party, just to have fun, to have a nice time. And finally, I grew up so many dresses. And at that time, I read a book about Coco Chanel. It was such a nice book. I read one page, I go back because I love so much. And when I finished the book, I believe I was Coco Chanel. And my husband was there, and we opened a shop called La Tour de Bebel. Bebel is the nickname of Isabelle. And you have, you can see on the basement, it was my husband. I put him to print, because we have so many, I can paint everything and print some skirt like you see on the window. That's the shop. After you have the first floor, when we paint fabric, it was unpainted. At the top it was the sew, people who sew. And at the top, it's my house and the bed. During 13 years, I never be standing on the sleep, la chambre couchée, the bedroom. We have to go like that. We are so tired, what is to do? And that was a fantastic time. But very, very quickly, I understand I'm not a fashion design, I'm not a Coco Chanel, and I have no money, And it was because, you know, people comes when they have a dress, they don't pay, not all, but a lot, because they have 2 doors at the shop. They come to order dress and they take the other door to escape. So, it was not easy. And when I make wrong things, because I do a lot of stupid things, when I make a spot on the fabrics, I cut and I make a pillow, or maybe I make a curtains for the cabine d'essayage, for the
Interior decoration?
no, for the place when you try the dress.
Dressing room.
Dressing room. And when people ask me, can I buy the pillow? Oh, yes, I say that's good. And can I buy the curtains and the sofa? And I say, oh my God, I'm so smart, so good. I change, I stop, I put all the sun over we stay together, and I create fabrics for furnishing fabrics. And it was a new start. The same people came, they all sofa, curtains, pillow, they never talk about dress. That's us, I think we are safe. But very soon we are in front of new problem. Too much fabrics, you have too much yellow and white, and you say the blue and white, and it was complicated. And I began to work with people like Pillow and Bock. They came one day because I make a window shop with stylists, and one woman come from Pillow and Bock. They okay, what's that? I do that, and we could work for us. And since 30 years I work for Pillow and Bock. Played. That was my house. Our last house. It was very, let's say, old, and I really like. You can see all the fabrics. It's hand painted. It's become furnishing, and even the tiles on the kitchen.
So you like to travel, and that's very inspiring to you as well. These are some of your travel books.
Yes, Denita, they came at the studio and she opened a drawer, and I have a bunch of sketchbook, because it's important when you travel. Okay, you can take pictures, and finally, especially now, you never look again because you make so many pictures. But when you stop and you look at the outside, you have the country, and you paint the flowers very humbly, you never forget the color of the everything. It's very important, very inspiring for the future. Yeah, you can see Venice, where I spend a lot of time. I work a lot for a huge hotel in Cipriani in Venice. I paint the wall, and that's other travel in Morocco, and but it's nice when you go there and you reopen the sketchbook. It's like you will do it in travel. Alors, we come in the paper glasses with the purpose. And when you touch other fashion, it's like a drug. It's like you do that, because a day or another you come back. It's it's inside. I love that. I love fabrics. I love the fashion. I love the way when the people work on the street, when they wear on the night, and it's still on my head all the time. And we were in New York on 1994, and I was visiting with my great friend Rita. You can see Rita Brown. She's a customer for theatre, and at the same time she restored old costume for an antique dealer. I don't know what's happened that day, but it was a very important day. She worked on the downtown in New York. She bring me in the studio where the antique dealer has a bunch of 18th century dress. And we go there. I was crazy. He opened a box. There are plenty of shoes come from the 18th century. And we go to the museum because it's very important to go at the Metropolitan. At that time, they have an exhibition of Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent, it was alive, it was bright red, it was so strong. Do you have a second book? No?
What's going to help if we put
Là?
this?
Ça va? Oui?
Let's try that.
Ouais. Alors, Saint Laurent, everybody knows Saint Laurent. C'était so contemporary. And I was crazy because it reminded me the time when I paint fabrics for my dresses. And at the same time, we visit the permanent collection of the Metropolitan, and they have a huge exhibition about 18th century dress. I don't know what's happened in my head, but I became crazy. And I was on the staircase of the Metropolitan with Rita, and I said to Rita, you know, I have an idea. I would like to make one paper dress. I would like to invite you, because you live in Canada, I would like to invite you to spend time, and because we are very friends, in Brussels, and maybe we can make a paper dress. She looked at me, she said, I love Belle, but she's crazy. Why she paper dress? She worked only with very 18th century dress, sometimes to restore a lace, thick, and she's such an incredible woman. She has a finger, so can figure out I am more strong. And she came, and we do, the first one was the yellow one, she's there at the museum. It was unpainted. We have to do more, and she come back, and we do more. And well, at that time, you have seen the house. At the first floor, we have a big dining room, sitting room, and you never go there because there's a fireplace, fantastic, you have wood on the wall, we have cabinets around the wall. It's an old house. And we put all the dress there like it is. Because we have a dog, it was very dangerous with the dog. 2 dogs, who eats everything. And we put all the dress there. And we don't forget, we don't think about it. And at that time, I worked a lot for American people. Gaspari, you know Gaspari? And I have to say, that's very the American people who put that story like it is. Because they came twice a year to bring some new pattern for napkins, for tablecloths, for all the stuff in paper. And because they are very gourmet, they ask us, we want to taste that restaurant, we want to go there, they want to taste everything. One day they arrive and I say, okay, that time we don't go to a restaurant, we go to the cocktail party. And we go upstairs, I put the fireplace, I put the candles, and we open the door and they discover that. And they are out of, I don't know, they are astonished, just like that. So kind. And 5 minutes out, they say, okay, Isabelle, now we have to think about that. You have to go at the museum. It's like someone asked me to drive a plane. Because museum for me is, I need to be died for to go to the museum. And 6 months later, it was a problem. It's okay? 6 months later, because they work a lot with le musée d'impression de Mulhouse. C'est quoi?
Away from yours.
Okay. Thank you.
It's okay? Yes. And they work a lot with the musée d'impression in Mulhouse where there are 5 million different patterns come from 17th century until now. And they invite me to have the first exhibition. And they bring some friends, come from Museum of Art of Boston, and the FIT of New York. And that was after Mulhouse, it was in Boston, it was in New York, and since now it's a lot of different museums.
And the medium really pulls together all of your interests. The paper, the fashion, the history, and your vast knowledge of cultural history, all in this. And part of your process is starting with these books where you're beginning to piece together the ideas. Tell us about how your process works.
It's because I'm completely autodidact. I have to invent everything. Even if nobody invents anything, everything is already done. But very humbly, if you take a piece of paper and you think about I'm painting silk dress come from the 18th century, you have to put your mind there. You have to look at, you have to really become to dream, to make people dream. It's très important. And I look at the book, I travel through the book to the museum, and I try to find, to give back what I receive from the painting. When you see like Elizabeth I of England, it's a portrait. It's many things are inside. I love so much because you have jewelry, you have lace, you have embroidery, you have so many things, and it's the way when you can give back. That dress was embroidered at that time by different people in England who was the best embroiderer, to be an apple, to make an apple, or to embroider an animal. And well, that's the first dress up.
And what's the difference between working from a painting and working from an actual garment? Is there a difference for you, or you're just inspired by?
You mean a painting?
The Elizabeth I versus looking at an actual dress.
It's the same. It's the same. It's when you fell in love of a painting, a dress, a piece of fabric, the shoes. I am like that. I would like to rub. I would like when I go to the museum, I would like to bring back to my house. And I rub with my eyes. And when I go back, look the painting. It's phenomenal. It's so beautiful. It's a silk called à la branche. It was difficult to explain that in English, but it's a fil, a troph.
The warp? Or
the warp. It's a fil.
The thread. The thread.
It was touched by color, and finally, when it's weaving, the pattern come out. Can you figure out how it was complete? And with my brush, I try to do the same. But it's when I decide to do that dress, I put the paper on my table. I have an idea about how many paper I need, because I have and I paint. But I have to really think about the painting. And it's like you go to the museum and you go back to your house and you have to tell us what you have seen today. And I tell the story with a brush. That's Poiret, that's fantastic dress.
And then you had always wanted to go inside Palazzo Fortuny.
Yes, Venice and Fortuny was very close to my heart, very important. First of all, we had the wedding in Venice a long time ago. And each time when you go to Venice, because we are really in love of that city, which is not difficult. And we visit the Fortuny Palace. At the start it was closed, and we tried to come into, and I feel something very strong for the first time. I feel it's like my father, my spiritual father, because the way when talked to me with Spanish, live in Venice, and the way when he works, the inspiration, his wife, how he works, how he makes the color, how he creates the fabrics, how he invents the pleated. I feel very next to him, and the way when he was inspired by everything, it's and now we are so spoiled because we go at the movie, we have a fantastic book in color, but he has just black and white information, and after he put color on what he discovered, like the credible code, you see, and everything comes from Copt, Egyptian, Indian. He visits all the world through the book and reinvents a new style.
And you've been asked to create some very special commissions all around the world, including the Jacqueline Kennedy wedding dress.
Yes, that was a good opportunity to. One day, the phone rang. It was the Boston Museum called me to, because they have a huge exhibition organized in Chicago around the dress of Jackie Kennedy, and they want to show the famous wedding dress. See that? And they discovered she was woman, because since after 50 years, it was like a dust. And they send me a ticket plane, and I go there. I go to Boston Memorial Kennedy. I was very touched because I first of all discovered the desk of Kennedy, like that, with the Remington. It was, I remember all my life, it was simple next to what we have now. And we go how many floors down to arrive like a mausoleum. It was very, very cool. And they took a huge cardboard boxes. They opened the box, and I was on the scar because I have to see from I have not to touch. Everybody has the white gloves, and I was with my little sketchbook at 3 meters out to look at the dress. It was really interesting. And I now stay.
Okay.
Okay, stay because it's. And I come back in Brussels and I do the paper. You have to imagine they have 12 roses on the to find exactly the color, because it's all white, it's not white, and it's absolutely not the taste of Jackie Kennedy, but she has to obey to the father-in-law to choose that dress. It's the only dress she accepts. Someone choose for her after she went, like we do. It was nice to do that.
What an honor.
That's another story. It's Versailles. It's called La Salle des Bains de Marie Antoinette. It's difficult to say that in English because it's not bathroom. It's La Salle des Bains. Boudoir, yes, but they are okay. Bad. And it was empty since the Revolution. And they asked me to redo it in paper, even the bed, and comment on appelle la table, the little table, the mirror, the boxes, the pants to put the mosquito, the mouche, you see. Everything is done with the same paper that I use for the dress, and even the curtains. And you have the Madame Campan, the friend of her, and she is like that in front of the mirror, thinking what kind of dress she wants to wear for the promenade. And you have another woman who brings some chocolate, and even the cup, it's on paper too, simple. And you know, to go in Versailles in front of French people, you have to be very humble. It goes like that, very quietly. I'm a Belgian, not easy. And but now it's still there. I don't know for the rest of the life because it was empty.
And then you did the Medici series, which was inspired by one of your favorite museums, the Uffizi.
Yes, because we have a house in Tuscany, and each time when we go there, it's supposed not stopping in Florence and visiting the Uffizi and look at the painting. And you know, you have been there, it's so many people there. When you see a painting, you have immediately run because there are so many people who want to see the same painting, and you have to come back because otherwise it's too short. And that it's the spring of Botticelli, which is green, totally green, and it's full of flowers because it's a spring. And you say it's she's like crying, maybe she's not crying. It's the way when they want to show it's a rich woman, because at that time the woman loves the baby, and if you have the baby, you are already a woman who have a luck. I know. Eleanor de Tolède, that's an incredible painting from Bronzino. You can see that's completely the painting. She was sitting with the kids, and I bring her by my hand, and I put her standing. And that's a purpose of what I do. You can discover on the exhibition. When you come in love with the fabrics, what you can do, you have to tell, you have to try to understand what's happened in that painting. I pass so many times, and I say, maybe it's the eyes, maybe it's the face, maybe it's the way when she's sitting, maybe the hand. What happened? What made me crazy? And finally, evidently, I find it's because fashion, it's more elegant than that. You can find it, and I'm not the alone to find that. Listen, that it's I discovered that. I can say it's Coco Chanel. Come back to her for sure. She look at that painting because all what she does, quite all. She loves white, she loves black, she loves velvet, she loves satin, she loves pearl. Look, the pearl everywhere. And if you look at the bell, I do the bell. You can see the bell because it's in the museum. I promise you, when the bell was finished, I wear the bell. It's exactly like a Chanel bell. The same. You can have a look. And the back of the bell, because what is so elegant, when we wear a bell, it's like that, click, finish. No, bell, it's go there and go until the flower, with a bunch of pearl and stones and gold, and that's the luxury. Why it was so luxury? Because at that time there are no television, there are no pictures, there are no magazine. When she goes on the balcony, everybody see her and remember her. Like Catherine de Medici, maybe you can see covered by pearl, because when you have the sun at noon come to your dress with 4,000 pearl, I promise you everybody remember it.
And then you did a series on the Ballet Russe, which was, how did you get inspired to do that series?
It's because if you look at it's bring me at the start about my dress I wear for go to the ball, because it was very simple design. I can say naive design. It's more simple than the Eleanor de Tolède, but it's more in life. It's more contemporary, and the story about the Ballet Russe. It's look at the dress yellow. It's quite done by kids. But I love the story of the Ballet Russe and Diaghilev. Diaghilev was a man who escaped the Russian when they had the revolution, and he bring with him the most good good dancer like Nijinsky, the more incredible painter and theater decorate, and all the musician, everyone. And he bring them in Paris at the start of the last century, and they met the huge artists who was in Paris, like Matisse, Picasso, Miro. All that people go together. It should be fantastic, that period, and it's really art moderne. They create art moderne.
And you're doing all this amazing work in your studio. Here's just a few views of your studio as it is today. And there's people working in the studio, you have assistants, you have projects all across interiors, fashion. You're working on a piece for Hermes right now. Tell us about your dream of having this studio and creating this
But that studio is not arrived at the first day. And that's the fine one. The first one was on the table, a kitchen table. And now that it's 1,500. And they have a lot. It's we buy a garage and we destroy, and we ask the best architect in Belgium to rebuild our dream. It's mean to have a gallery, studio, and a house. And there we have a lot of pattern on the drawer, and it's a place. If you pass by Belgium, you have to stop because it's an incredible place, full of lights, like I never had. And there are quite 10 people work with more in turn also. That's the library. We have a huge library with 5,000 books since I am very little, because everything is there. You have to visit that and go and look and research, and it's really a place when it's nice to be there.
Absolutely. And then for this North American tour of your retrospective of your work, the Frick in Pittsburgh was kind enough to lend this painting of Princess Condé to the tour, and they commissioned the dress that you recently made, and we have some photographs of the process. So I hope you'll take us through just a little bit of what goes in from white paper through the finish.
Mm-hmm. But one time, it's the same story. You look at the painting, come from Provence, simply Provence. And I tell the story about Rembrandt, which for me is very important. When you are in front of a portrait made by Rembrandt, when you are next to the painting, you see it's painted like a graffiti, very like that. And you see, oh, he has a hat, he has a coat. And when you go just a little back, you see, that's furs. That the coat is on velvet. And when you go back another time, the furs move, because it's a great painter. It's like ribbons. To give the spirit of the dress, it's not to make red stuff and put galon on the top or ruffle. No, you have to come into the painting and try to give back what you feel, what kind of fabrics, what kind of color. It's never one layer. It's because layer after layer you arrive at to give back the impression. My impression, maybe it's not for everybody the same, but you can see how many layers you have to finally arrive at the effect.
So that's a detail of Princess Condé. So when you go in and see the dress, you can think of...
There we are in the studio. You can see some women. There you are. I think my real talent is to discover the talent of the other people. Mm-hmm. Because when they come from the school, at the school you don't learn anything. You learn when you work. You learn when you go to the museum, when you look, when you try to understand. Because I'm very often surprised by, especially in Belgium, they come, they have no clue about anything. But after 1 month or 2 weeks, you can discover how they have good fingers when they love to do pearl, or maybe to try to copy a shoes, or or maybe three-dimension big. I have to say, painting is my job, because I have to keep the story together. Because the red I see, maybe not the rest, the red they can see. No, it's different. Everybody has another idea about the color. And you see the detail of the les manches, the sleeves. You have to pleat it, you have to do very slowly, you have to be all les nœuds, the pro. It's paper, made like that, and play with that to give the spirit of the embroidery. We never go somewhere to buy a piece of lace. You need a lace? I paint lace. You need that? You need a pearl? You need a pearl. Denita came.
I did.
And because she never stopped to work, to look at, to make the fantastic catalogue. And suddenly I feel she wants to turn around the table. I say, do a color. And she does. Everybody could do. It depends what you have in your hand, in your soul.
It was so much fun, I can tell you. And this is you in the foyer of your studio, getting ready to go out on the town, and socializing and seeing other people is inspiring to you as well.
We have, you have to move and travel and look and go out and stop what you do, change. I love cooking, and we have a nice kitchen, and many friends comes, and it's the day change when you begin to cook and open a bottle of wine. Another story came, we discuss, and it's like that. It's an exchange. You have to exchange all the time what you feel. That was an exhibition about feathers, because I have been very often in Brazil, and I never could bring back feathers because it's interdit.
Maybe it's illegal. I don't know.
And I said, okay, I could buy, I could not bring back. I said, okay, I have to do one for me. And I do one, finally 2, 3, I do 60, and we organize a huge exhibition. Like you see, it was such a success because it's happy. What I do, I'm not talented for the sad things. I'm talented for the happiness, and for the color, and to be happy.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
When you visit Isabelle's studio and you are walking down the street, and it's usually a little gray in Brussels, and there's a sign on the street that says, "Enter if you're fond of color."